Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again with another episode of the Chelsea Career Mode here on Xbox One. We're into episode number 73, and actually I want to start this one off by saying sorry. I got a huge backlash in Tuesday's episode with you guys, well, not necessarily complaining, just being a little bit disgruntled with the fact that I chose Aguero over Neymar. Obviously Neymar is younger and higher rated, but I made the decision to buy Sergio Aguero because I prefer him as a player and to play with on FIFA, and I went with that decision. And you guys were disappointed that I hadn't put it to a vote because clearly a lot of you would have preferred me to buy Neymar over Sergio. Sergio's only 27 years old, and we're only going to be doing a maximum of one more season here at Chelsea, so he's not going to decrease in stats by the time we finish, but clearly you guys were annoyed that I didn't put it to a vote. So next time, if we have a similar situation, I will put it to a vote. I apologise for not putting it to a vote this time, and we'll just leave it there and move on. But Sergio Aguero has been in good form for us so far since signing, so it's not necessarily a bad thing that he's coming to the club. It's not as if he's being a flop. It's £38 million well paid. And so far, he's been proving that he can put the ball into the back of the net on a regular basis. And we're trying to put the ball into the back of the net here against Hull. They had a very, very strong first half against this. It was a bit of a dull half, but the second half really came alive. Ramirez was trying to force the issue. He's had a couple of chances already now, and this time Victor was able to just pluck the ball out of the air because that header was a little bit tame, not really getting any sort of power or direction behind it. Perhaps trying to loop the goalkeeper, similar to how Robin van Persie did. And in fact, that chance again came through Ramirez, and again, unfortunately, Victor was well behind it. So I made a couple of changes. Pato and Lucas Piazon coming on for Schürrle and Oscar. One Brazilian off, two Brazilians on. We were hoping that was going to create the chances that we needed. I put actually Pato on at cam to sit behind Aguero. So I actually had two strikers on the pitch. We were trying to create the chance we needed to win the game. Only 20 minutes left, as you can see. Pato, good feet to get the ball out wide to Hazard, who's going to cross it in. Aguero can't quite find himself on the end of that cross, but Piazon with a great first-time volley hits the bar. And actually, Aguero did that all by himself. I didn't hit shoot. It flicked the cursor to me, but he was already diving and heading the ball into the back of the net before I even managed to press the shoot button. It was just pure reactions from him, and we find ourselves going 1-0 up. You can see it's a great shot from Piazon, first time on the volley before it even bounces, and Aguero has the reactions to put the ball into the back of the net. It's a poacher's finish, and we go 1-0 up. We're trying to extend the lead if we can, because of course goal difference may be important should the gap at the top be closed towards the end of this season. We have been in good goal scoring form though, but again, another fantastic save from Victor, the goalkeeper, keeps us out. The ball is eventually going to find its way to Ramirez, but unfortunately his first touch lets him down. We aren't able to create a second opportunity, but it wasn't going to matter because we get all 3 points with that one poacher finish from Aguero. We get the win 1-0 against Hull City, and we travel just not too far. In fact, I thought it was an away game next. It's not. It's actually the game at home against Borussia Dortmund. As you can see, we're having to play a bit of a rotation side. I didn't check the fixture list prior to that game against Hull, so started a strong team against Hull, and then it turned out 3 days later we had a game against Borussia Dortmund at home in the Champions League in the round of 16, which is definitely going to be a difficult tie, and unfortunately we had to go into it with a weakened side. So I will most definitely make sure that I have a full strength side out for the second leg. But of course, Borussia Dortmund have a couple of players that we previously had here at Chelsea earlier on in the series. Diego Costa we brought in the first season was pretty poor for us, to be fair, in the year that we had him, so we moved him on, and he did go to Borussia Dortmund then, and clearly he's now in his second season at the German club. Just about keeps that in, although I think that went over the line. No goal line or byline technology on FIFA, of course, at the present moment in time, but they're going to flick the ball on there. Hummels finds the man Diego Costa at the back post, and it's the former Chelsea man who, after controversially winning a corner, controversially puts them 1-0 up, and he's got no chance or doesn't think twice about not celebrating against the former club. He's clearly delighted to have put the ball into the back of the net and to have given his current club a 1-0 lead. Not only a 1-0 lead, but an away goal as well. So we need to step things up for the rest of the first half and into the second. And we're going to nick the ball off, and then Lucas Piazon plays in Alex Pato. The link up well, and Piazon, a fantastic finish. He was unlucky not to get a goal in the whole game, and this time does find the back of the net. He's been very, very good for us so far. Not had the most first team footballers perhaps he may have liked, but he has been playing more often than not for us. And again, of course, finishing with aplomb. He's been an extremely good player. I'm very pleased with the way he's progressed, and brings us back on level terms in the tie at 1-1. So we're into the second half, just past the hour mark. And it's actually Borussia Dortmund who get themselves a chance here. Kevin Grosskreutz is going to play the ball down the line to Blazikowski. Great turn on Willian. I just didn't track the run properly enough. Gets around the outside. Azuma squares the ball. And of all players to head the ball into the back end of the net, it's Juan Mata. Again, another obviously former Chelsea player. You know what they said in commentary when he scored that? Alan Smith went, well, it is a player renowned for his great heading ability. Great heading ability and Juan Mata. Those two phrases don't go together in a sentence ordinarily, do they? But still, the little Spaniard, great header, fantastic accuracy down into that bottom corner. That gives Borussia Dortmund a 2-1 lead and 2 away goals more to the point. And Alex Patos trying to force the issue again, being involved with Luka Modric, driving around the outside of the defender, but it's a tame shot on his left foot. I did have an option of Willian on the left-hand side of me. Perhaps I should have taken it, but we were going to be on top for the rest of the game, trying to create the chance to get ourselves back on level terms. Thomas Callas, of all players, just kept going here, driving further and further forward, plays in Van Ginkel, but it's a great defensive block from the man. Takes the sting out of the shot, and it's a good save, an easy save for Wiedenfeller. So I made 3 changes: Atsu Asamoah Remy for Pato Willian and Lucas Piazzon. 3 Brazilians coming off, in fact. We have a lot of Brazilians in the side, so it seems. But we were trying to create the opportunity, if we possibly could, to get ourselves back in the game. But in fact, it's going to be Borussia Dortmund who are going to have this opportunity. Juan Mata again bringing the ball down. Great reaction save from Courtois. Callas trying to close down Julian Schieber. In fact, gets the ball squared back across to Bender, and another reaction save from Thibaut Courtois keeps them out, stops them from making it 3-1 and effectively putting the tie to bed. 2-1 though is a scoreline that we can most definitely work with, and it will go away to the Velfaden Stadion and try and get ourselves through the tie. We'll have a strong side put out for that particular game. I'll make sure that I do so. So we come into the next game, which is away from home. In the FA Cup, actually away from home against Sunderland in the snow. So it's not going to be the easiest of ties. Sunderland are actually a decent side, and not only are they a decent side, clearly the snowy conditions are going to have an effect on proceedings. It's the 4th round of the FA Cup, question mark. We beat Bristol City earlier on in the week. I think this is a 4th round. It would have said earlier on, but I didn't pay attention to the little graphic that popped up. But we were trying to get ourselves out of a little bit of trouble here, eventually getting the ball free. And Danilo is going to play a nice ball down the line for Remy to run onto. Gets all the way around the outside of Roberge, the defender, squares the ball, and there's Kwadwo Asamoah bundling it through the goalkeeper into the back of the net. And 4 minutes in, we find ourselves 1-0 up. Very pleased to get ourselves on the score sheet so early on. It kind of settled my nerves after that disappointing display against Borussia Dortmund, but they were going to come straight back at me. 20 minutes in now, and Craig Gardner is going to play the ball over the top to Giaccherini. Great turn inside Mangala. I tried to read the ball across, but unfortunately neither of the defenders were able to get on the end of it, and Waris is able to volley the ball into the back of the net, and we're back to 1-1. So we again trying to get ourselves in front this time, rather than falling behind again like we did against Dortmund. And Christian Atsu is going to try and do that. Whips the ball in. Loic Remy's there, and Kieran Westwood makes a great reaction save right in front of him. Loic Remy could have put that header absolutely anywhere and it would have found the back of the net, but he played it straight at Kieran Westwood, and the Irishman's able to keep it out. And Atsu just about gets away from Gardner there. He kind of pulled him back rather clinically there, but unfortunately Loic Remy can't quite win the header this time, and Westwood's able to just tamely pluck the ball out of the air. But we're going to have another opportunity. Craig Gardner is actually going to play the ball forward, and it's actually going to be a poor touch and worries. Van Ginkel wins the ball back. Modric could play a good lob through ball looking for Kwadwo Asamoah. He's in behind. All he's got to do is lift it over the goalkeeper, and it's another good reaction save from Kieran Westwood. That keeps us out. So we stay at 1-1 as we head into the second half, but I don't really want a replay in the FA Cup if I can help it, because of course we've got busy schedule as it is. But Kieran Westwood again making a good save down to his left-hand side, or down to his right-hand side, sorry, the left-hand side of the goal. Looking for that bottom left-hand corner. The conditions definitely had a part to play in that, because it wouldn't have ordinarily caused him any problems. But clearly, because of the snow, Oscar's shot was a bit troubling. Kwadwo Asamoah with a good chance there. Perhaps should have tried to finesse that, take a touch and finesse it as he disappears and reappears on the screen. You'll see from the glimpse of the replay that I actually skipped that he hits it and it just bends away from the goal. If I'd have finessed that, it perhaps would have occurred inside the post rather than bending away from it. But Andre Schürrle comes on for Oscar. I put Andre in at the cam role. It's a role that he's not particularly used to in this side. I've been playing him out wide ordinarily more times than not, but he was the only player that I had on the bench that was kind of relatively fit enough to be able to make an impact on the game. And in fact was involved here, but Loic Remy, rather than have the shot, I tried to turn his side to get it onto his right foot, and I couldn't quite get the angle to make sure that I could have a shot on target, and Sunderland do eventually solidify up at the back, and they keep it at 1-1. So unfortunately, we are going to have a replay in the FA Cup against Sunderland, but hopefully the conditions will be better when they return to Stamford Bridge, and we'll be able to play a stronger side and get a decent result out of them. But the next game, tomorrow's episode, will be a live commentary of the Capital One Cup final against Wolverhampton Wanderers of all sides. You have to say we probably should come out with a victory in that one, and if we don't, I'll be particularly disappointed. A great chance to get some silverware in this third season. Of course, as you can see, we're still 10 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the table, and it's still very tight for the rest of those Champions League spots. Spurs, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United and Man City separated by 3 points from 2nd to 6th. So it's all to play for in those positions. It's still all to play for the league title, and tomorrow we'll have the Capital One Cup final as well. But that's all for today's episode. Again, apologies about the Neymar Aguero situation. We will address that in further situations later on in the series, perhaps in other series as well. But that's all for today's episode. There will be a My Player episode later on tonight, a shock twist in that series. If you enjoy that series, definitely check tonight's video out, because something very, very unexpected is going to happen. But if you aren't subscribed to the channel and you want to do so, there's a link as an annotation on the left hand side, and of course in the description as well. You'll also find links in the description to my Twitter and to my Instagram if you want to follow me over there, and also a upload schedule so that you know exactly what and when to expect videos on my channel. So of course, if you missed the previous episode in this series, click the annotation on the screen. But as for now, that's all for this afternoon. Thank you very much for watching. England play tonight at 8 o'clock, so be sure to check that out, and then of course the My Player at 9, and I will see you next time.